Good morning. Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Lake Mary Toastmasters. If you will silence your cell phones, that would be most appreciated, and stand with me while we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. The goal of our club is to provide a supportive and learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let me introduce to you our Toastmaster for today, Carrie Bird.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I forgot my dreams, man.
And while that would have been an easy theme for today, it is not the theme I chose. I chose today for March Madness. It starts tonight with the first four. I love March Madness, so that's why we chose it. It is the NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament. Currently, they have 68 teams that make the tournament. The first round is called the first four, which are play-in games into the round of 64. They are held in Dayton, Ohio. They're always held in Dayton, Ohio. It is the only time that a team is possibly allowed to play in their home stadium, and it will happen this year as Dayton is one of the teams that are in the first four. Then you have the round of 64, the round of 32, the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four, and then the championship game, which is generally held within the first week of April. It is a single elimination tournament. The way it gets seeded by an NCAA selection committee. There are 32 of the slots are Division I conference champions who automatically make it in. The next 36 are at-large bids, which are chosen by the committee, and it's broken into 4 regions: the Midwest, East, South, and West. And now we will go to our technical table. You're doing so well. We will start with our odd-counter.
So early in the morning, thank you. As odd-counter, it is my function to listen to the use of filler words such as you know, so, okay, and other audible pauses as fillers. I just got one. I will be noting if members perform any double clutches, which means to say things twice, such as this means. Finally, I will also include things which might be distracting, such as lip smacks. I will present my report during the evaluation portion of the meeting. Each infraction is, I think it's $1.
Yes.
25 cents?
5 cents.
5 cents, thank you.
And next we have our timer. Filling in for Sam is my keys.
Time, all of you. We got 5 minutes, we got 6 minutes, and we got 7 minutes. And then I'm going to throw the card at you, so be on time, Hadi. Anyways, that's my thing in the table topics. You got 30 seconds, 1 minute, and a minute and a half, and then. So, it's been a good morning. Evaluators, you 2 minutes, 2.5, and then 3. Good stuff. It's been a rough morning.
But you're here.
But you're here, that made my day, so. Thank
And our grammarian today is Stephanie Martin.
The role of the grammarian, twofold. First, to introduce the word of the day, which is voracious. Where is this? Voracious. It means avid, eager. Used in a sentence, the voracious fans went wild as their star player slam dunked the ball. Not to be confused with veracity. Be looking for the correct usage of the word. If you don't use it when you speak, and you've had your license, it is 25 cents. I will also be looking for the incorrect use of the English language so that we can improve, and also for the overuse of the words great, very,
Absolutely.
those, and any exceptional use. I will give my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Yes.
And our first speaker today is Macarena, speaking from the Cognitive Communication Manual, project number 2, Organize Your Speech with Reality of Reality TV.
Point of order, yeah. Her manual, who's going to evaluate her?
Oh, come on, Carrie.
Steve,
Oh,
Stephen, right?
no,
Who
you
has?
didn't evaluate her.
Sure.
Thank you, Dan.
Sorry.
See.
All right.
Toastmaster Tidbit.
I know.
We all.
Thank you, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guest. Question. Who here in this room has ever watched a reality TV show, is watching one now or has watched one in the past? All right, so the majority of the people here. We may think that reality TV started in the early 1990s when Real World hit our TV screens, but actually it started in the late 1940s when Candid Camera became a huge hit in 1948. I don't really know who owned a TV back then, but since then, reality TV has taken many shapes and forms. We have your game or competition shows such as Survivor, America's Got Talent, Amazing Race,
The real house.
getting to that too. These, we have game shows that I actually really kind of love. They are the kind of game shows that can be competitive in a very positive way. There's constructive criticism. It helps the people that are in the competition or the game grow to be better at, let's say, cooking, such as Chopped, or with America's Got Talent, it helps them become better at what they're doing. And it also, for the viewer, it opens their eyes to a whole new world. It allows them to see talent that they never even knew existed. And for the person that is doing the actual talent or doing the actual competition, it allows them to become known, for their name to become known. So actually, I really do enjoy those kinds of TV series. Now, on the other side, there are shows like The Real World, Jersey Shore, Flavor of Love, and The Real Housewives that take the word reality TV to a whole other level. We often question whether these kinds of reality TV shows are actually really reality or scripted. Take, for example, ladies' bridezillas. You're a bride, and you tell one of your bridesmaids or all of your bridesmaids that they have to lose an X amount of weight or force them on a diet before walking down the aisle. Now you tell me, would anybody really do that? And if that's actually really happened, I really hope you maybe reconsider your friendship with them. Because that's just horrible. Well, I highly doubt any of that would ever happen, but you know, it's the shock factor that really seems to matter for the producers. They call it reality TV, but is it really reality? Would that ever really happen in real life? Now, is anybody a follower of the TV show Dance Moms?
I've seen it.
I watch it. All right, for those who have never heard of this TV show, it's a TV series that features a elite dance competition that consists of teenage, preteen dancers. And they go and compete, but the show is really about the insane drama that their moms bring to the studio. There's backstabbing, there's talking behind other people's backs, there's drinks being poured in other people's faces, and in the end, they all come back the very next week. They seem like they're friends again, and the whole thing starts all over again. It's pretty ridiculous. Being a former dancer, I've been dancing since I was about 4 years old. A few people have approached me, from little kids to adults, and they've asked me, "You watch Dance Moms, right?" And I say, "No, I do not watch it." Why? Because it is fueling a generation, an attitude that I do not agree with nor support. What they are doing is they're taking fiction and they're disguising it as truth or reality. What I experienced as a dancer was completely the opposite from what you see on that show. I had teachers that inspired, dancers that became my best friends, and parents that were the most supportive in every aspect of each dancer's life. Like I said, I grew up dancing since the age of 4, and I was around instructors, I was around professors and teachers and mentors that inspired the students to become better at dancing. They wanted us to leave, the dancers to leave, with a smile on our faces and to come back. Nobody left crying, nobody left rejected, nobody left let down. We, as dancers, we learned how to take direction and instruction and constructive criticism. The dancers themselves taught each other how to communicate, how to collaborate and work as a team. And the parents were a huge, large support system with the dancers and the other parents as well. They motivated, they encouraged the dancers as well as the parents. And to this day, we still talk to each other, the parents and the dancers as well as the instructors. Most important, between the teachers, dancers, and the parents, there was an incredible amount of respect towards one another. Between costume changes, competition trips, after-school rehearsals, and so on, dancers really taught us all how to communicate and work successfully with others as a group to achieve a certain goal. Much of what I learned as a dancer in the dance studio, I was able to take to my professional life and incorporate it as far as working with teams and groups and collaboration. For parents today, I want to give them a message. If you see your daughter or your son watching a TV series such as Real Housewives, Dance Moms, or anything that you may think may influence them or have them think that this is bad or I shouldn't try it, make sure you sit down with your child and let them know that this is not true, that these are scripted. The producers have scripted them because they want the audience to be shocked, because they want the audience to come back for more. It is not true. Make sure you talk to them. Make sure that they understand the difference between reality and not reality. Thank you.
One minute on the clock, please.
What is reality?
The NCAA tournament started in 1939. It was actually an idea by Ohio State basketball coach Harold Olson. And from 1939 to 1950, there were 8 teams that participated. 1951 to 52, 16. 53 to 74, it varied between 20 to 25 teams. In 75 to 78, it was 32 teams. 79 was 40. 82 was 48. 83 started with 52, and in 84 it was 53. They did a play-in game. From 1985 to 2000, it was 64. And 2001 to 2002, it was 65, as they added a new conference, so that conference got an automatic bid, so that there was one play-in game at that time. And since 2011, we have had the 68 teams. Our next speaker is Ernst, and he will be speaking from the entertaining speaker, project number 4, getting us started.
I'm burning the ships and the bridges. I finished in December my 10th part of the Competent Communicators Manual. I graduated, I got the pin, and I got the certificate. Since then, I got totally off track. I suffered from a low level of motivation to yet give another speech. My enthusiasm about public speaking had dropped to a very low level. All the ideas of future subjects, the content of speeches, were somewhere deep buried inside my mind, but they have gone amiss. It appeared to me that my subconscious mind had taken the word graduation too literally and taken me back eons ago when it meant summer or spring break. And it totally checked out, like Elvis had left the stage. My mind was totally empty. Empty like the Greek national treasury. And if you read penny newspapers, you know it's pretty empty, like my bank account. So I was dragging my year trying to figure out how to get back onto track. My mind was bouncing back and forth, trying to come up with all kinds of excuses why I could not give another speech, such as I had to go out of town for my company, which I did not. I was too busy, which I was, no, I got sick, which I was not. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members, and honored guests, here you are. The deadline for your next speech is rapidly approaching, and your mind about the subject and the content of your speech is totally empty, nowhere to be seen. You're helpless, it's flat. Flat like a French pancake called a crepe. Or anybody who knows how to play tennis, it's like getting caught flat-footed on a tennis court and helplessly see the balls passing by you left and right. That's how I felt about giving another speech. In fact, I was so disillusioned, so much so that I signed up, practiced, and ran a marathon, a half marathon, not a marathon, a half marathon. And I'm not even a marathon runner. I did not get demotivated by somebody giving me a bad evaluation during my prior speech. Nobody gave me the finger. Nobody frowned. Except on Mike's face, I read an occasion, WTF is he talking about? It had been almost 3 months that I did not give a speech. I was kind of felt bad because Toastmaster is supposed to participate and give speeches, and I did not. Last Tuesday, I was about to write an email to Steve and say, hey, take me off the speaking schedule for the next 2 months. I tried to find myself. I was trying to put my monkey on his back. But really, I felt kind of, bad about it. Not contributing to the group. So I did the next best thing. I continued to procrastinate, trying to rationalize why I couldn't give a speech. So every time I sat down on my computer to try the next speech, the online news all of a sudden became more important. I had to know what was going on in Iraq and the Ukraine, and of course Hillary's emails. How could she not know? If she can lie, I can lie. So it was on Wednesday morning, early in the morning, when nature was calling. I sat down on my john and grabbed, no pun intended, Toastmaster magazine, and I was reading an article by the international president, Mohammed Murad. And it said, breaking in the 10K run. I'm a runner and kind of interested me. And basically it says, the daughter came home and said, Daddy, 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 can you run together with my brother at 10K at the end of 2 weeks? And Mohammed, a non-athlete, knew the most he could possibly run was 1K. So for 3 days he was pondering, thinking about what he was going to say to his children. And he all of a sudden realized the articles he had written in the speeches he had given, which said, where there's a will, there's a way. Walk the talk. And of course, Nike's just do it. So if your life ever takes you through challenges, and it will, and your mind gets as blank as mine was, helpless, trying to figure out where to go next, remember, sometimes there's a little trigger, just like this article, which gets you right back on the track. So before you throw in the towel, and I don't have a towel, before you quit, before you try to come up with an excuse, remember that overcoming a challenge, any challenge, is what gets you to the person you can really be proud of. And sometimes the answer and the puzzle to your question is just as close away as right next to your commode. Al Williams, the inventor or founder of A.L. Williams, said it best in his speech to about thousands of people, and A.L. Williams was one of the most successful privately owned insurance companies. He did this from a football coach, high school coach, to one of the largest or richest private insurance companies in the country. He said it best. He said, in America we need people, we need leaders who can do it. Who can do it, who can do it, he can do it. Who can do it until the solution is found and the problem is solved. Madame Toastmaster.
The teams that have won the most NCAA championships, UCLA with 11, Kentucky with 8, and they are likely to possibly win again this year, as they are the overall #1 seed and have not lost any games so far this year. North Carolina has 5, Indiana 5, the University of Connecticut 4, Duke 4, Louisville 3, Kansas 3, and then Florida, Michigan State, North Carolina State, Cincinnati, San Francisco, and Oklahoma State all have 2. Our next speaker will be speaking from the Competent Communication Manual, project number 9, Persuade with Power, with a speech entitled Instinct. Please welcome Hadi.
Have you found it yet? That creepy, crawly thing lurking around the corner, distorting your reality. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, that thing that I'm talking about is none other than your conscious mind. A device created to help you, but also created to destroy you and take you away from your truth. So what is the antidote to the perils of our conscious mind? There is one warrior that I like to use. I call it instinct. I built a multi-billion-dollar company following my gut instinct. No, not me. That was Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the person I first learned about instinct, of whom I first learned about instinct. He hammered it into my head when I read his book, Think Like a Champion. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Listen to other people, but trust your gut. So what is instinct? There are many names for it. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it your gut. Some people call it your subconscious mind. Some people think it's the voice of God. Any definition will do. The key is to realize the benefits of it. And today, I will share 3 stories about instinct, and I urge you to start using your instinct if you're not doing so already. The first story is that of a man named Magnus Walker. Imagine you're 17 years old. You've just arrived from Sheffield, England. Randomly came to America, followed a hunch. You're out in North Detroit working with inner city kids. You have no idea what you're doing here. You just thought it would be a good idea. You've helped these kids at the camp. You decide to make your way across the country to LA. You have long braided hair. All your friends are telling you to cut your hair and get a real job. You make it out to LA and you decide to go to Hollywood. Over there, you decide to buy some cheap secondhand clothing, sew it inside out, and walk around Hollywood Boulevard. All of a sudden, you make your first sale. Someone loves the outfit you've created and asks you for 8 more pairs. You run back to the store, sew it inside out, sell 8 more of them. Next thing you know, just by following hunches here and there, you've built a multi-million-dollar company. You're outsourcing your products to Hot Topic. And for whatever reason, you decide to throw away this business and shut it down. You buy some random properties in the art district of Hollywood. Everyone thinks you're absolutely nuts. Why on earth are you buying land in the middle of nowhere? Next thing you know, Hollywood studios come to you to film. Again, you've just made a few $1 million. A friend of yours, Tamir, has no money whatsoever and talks to you about building a Porsche video. You say, why not? And he follows his hunch. Travels to you on nothing but credit card miles. You decide to make the video together. The video goes viral. All of a sudden, Porsche's approaching you, Nike's approaching you, BMW's approaching you. You become an expert in branding. Both you and Tamir get flown across the world and start consulting for all these companies. So how on earth did Magnus Walker do it? He followed this rule, trusting his gut. How did his gut work? Was it his subconscious mind creating all these patterns? Was it some sort of energy? Was it God talking to him? Who knows? But it did work. Now, let's imagine you're Donald Trump. You've been approached by Hollywood directors to create this new show called The Apprentice. You go into your boardroom, discuss it with your team members. Everyone tells you that it's a terrible idea. But you're Donald Trump, and you do what you want. Donald Trump decided to trust his gut. And when he trusted his gut, he decided to go ahead with The Apprentice. And as you know, The Apprentice was a major hit show. Thirdly, I'll give you my own story of not listening to my gut. I was traveling to and fro from Orlando to Gainesville, and I never would get car insurance because financially it didn't make sense. On my very last trip to Gainesville, I had this inner voice that told me, get car insurance this time. And I started thinking logically. I was like, why would I get car insurance? It doesn't make sense financially. So of course, I go to Gainesville, I teach, party with my friends, come back to Orlando. The person who works at Enterprise is doing an inspection around my car. All of a sudden, he stops, and my heart thuds. There is a massive bump on the back bumper. Someone had hit my car in Gainesville without me even knowing it. How is it that the one time I thought to get car insurance and didn't, my car got hit? So, how would you know if your intuition is talking to you? I'll give you the rule I use. It's by Eckhart Tolle. Whenever you make a decision and there's peace, no anxiety whatsoever, no negativity, peace, and almost love, you know that you've made a decision based on your gut. Madam Toastmaster. Mike, what are you saying about me?
The NCAA tournament has been partially televised since 1969. In the mid-'80s, CBS took over the contract, and the games that you would see were generally regionally based, as they couldn't show all of the games. For the past few years, every game is televised between CBS, TNT, True TV, and TBS, so that every person can watch their team that they particularly want to watch. And just in case you haven't noticed, you do actually have a bracket. We fill them out at work because it's really fun, and our boss gives prizes, like typically days off to whoever wins. So we always do this at work, but there's your bracket, which shows all the teams that actually made the tournament. And now it is time for table topics, and let's bring our table topics master for today up, Nicole Tesla.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Table Topics is a long-lasting Toastmasters tradition intended to help members develop their ability to organize their thoughts quickly and respond to an impromptu question or topic. It helps improve confidence and impromptu public speaking skills. The NCAA tournaments are an American tradition that sends millions of fans into a synchronized frenzy each year. What is your favorite American tradition to participate in the most and why? Stephen.
Madam Table Topics Master, to put things as what an American tradition is when there are so many different cultures that come in and different traditions that I've encountered over the years, the only ones that we generally have are the nationalistic ones. We could have the Independence Day celebrations, and Thanksgiving would be the two traditions that are uniquely American here. I enjoy doing those plenty. I don't jump off the ultra-nationalistic wagon and run that way too far. I like to enjoy the time that it's spent that don't have to work, get to spend time with friends, family, enjoying a chance to relax. That's the one tradition I think Americans need a bit more of. We don't seem to have enough opportunity to do so, and when we get that chance, we really don't take it. We have a tendency to run overboard on you need to be working more, working harder, and not realizing the fact that taking that too far actually detracts from really what's most important in life. So I'm hoping that we can change the traditions and add a bit more of that for everyone to enjoy.
Would you want to be a basketball coach or a basketball player, and why, Lori?
Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, I would actually want to be a basketball player's wife. They make lots of money, so I've heard. And I've noticed that some of these wives are super young, like 18 years old, my daughter's age, just out of high school, and they are living in houses that are way better and bigger than mine. So if I had a choice, I'm sorry, I would not want to be a coach or a player. I'd like to be a basketball player.
What is your favorite basketball team and why? Erica.
Master, when I was a little girl, I was actually a Chicago Bulls fan.
Here.
Michael Jordan was my idol, my basketball idol. Today, I'm proud to say that I am an Orlando Magic fan. One of our good friends is Nick Anderson, and we get invited to support the team at the games, and I get so excited every time they make the changes. Also, being the interior designer, one of my clients was Stan Van Gundy. He did his home several years ago, and I had the pleasure of working alongside with him and his wife. So I'd have to say Orlando Magic.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and next we will bring up our general evaluator, Maury Richards.
We are at the portion of our meeting now where it's the educational portion, and the speakers will learn, they'll get some suggestions for improvements and also hear what they did really great. So the first person I'd like to introduce who is evaluating Macarena's speech
Mary Carol Holbert.
is Mary Carol Holbert.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and particularly Macarena. It's a pleasure to be allowed to evaluate a speech this morning. Macarena, your goal was to have a general purpose and then a specific purpose. And the general purpose appeared to be the whole idea of reality TV, and is reality TV real? And the specific purpose, I believe, although I'm not quite certain, but I believe it was to encourage us to let people know that reality TV is not real and that people should understand that. So I really like your voice. You have a very pleasant voice to listen to. And you inject humor throughout your speech. I enjoyed that very much. You had, and because I didn't know I was evaluating you at first, I wasn't sure, but I think you had notes on the lectern. If you did, you didn't use them very much. You referred to them very minimally, and that was part of the goal of the speech, is minimal or no use of notes. So I think you accomplished that. I think you probably could have done away with the notes and even done away with the lectern and given yourself more freedom here to move. But I think you complied with the speech requirements. You had very minimal use of notes. You used some great vocal inflection when you talked about, I think it was, you were using the flavor of love, You did that really well. It was really cute. You also had things like ticking off different points with your hands. I thought some good gestures there. In terms of what you might improve, one of the things with your hands is you were doing this fairly frequently. So you might think about opening up your arms a little bit, not keeping your elbows into your sides. That is one thing. And another thing, just so everyone is sure of the specific purpose, and maybe everyone is, think about maybe a 10 to 12 word phrase that is exactly what you want us all to take away, and that would be great. What I loved most about your speech is your sincerity. Your conviction was so real, and your personal story where you told us your experience. That to me is the thing that I will remember, and whenever I watch a TV show, a reality TV show, I will remember your story and your message for us to let other people know that it's all scripted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next evaluator I'd like to call up, please, and she will be evaluating Ernst's speech, is Julia Kaufman.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is with great pleasure to evaluate Ernst's speech. And there's no motivation. It was awesome. I loved your speech. I especially loved the topic. I suspect that every person in this room really related about having a blank mind on what the heck I'm going to talk about next. I certainly have related to that a lot of times and went through that same period of space after being involved and then just going flat, like I'm just done here. And you inspired me through that, through your words. Ernst was talking from the entertaining manual, and his speech particular topic is dramatic talk. You did it really well. You had all kinds of visual words, maybe words you don't necessarily want to use, like crap, WTF. For me personally, I loved it. It made me crack up. And I looked around the room, and the impact of your speech and the laugh and the jokes in there wove into a wonderful topic that we all relate to was perfect. It seemed like a perfect speech, a perfect time, and really well delivered. I loved the drama. I would encourage you to have more drama on your opening. It felt a little flat compared to the rest of it. The middle and the end just was full of punches, and you were using gestures and your vocal variety. You have great vocal variety. I aspire to have that type of vocal variety. In the beginning, you came in, you kind of lost me. You had the piece of paper, and then you ripped it up, and either I wasn't paying enough attention or it was mumbled as to what you were ripping up and why. So maybe work on that, because you should do this speech again to another meeting. It has so many messages and it's funny and a lot of laughs. Maybe enter it in a contest, but stronger opening. The other opportunity is the gestures were perfect. You paced a little bit. You were walking around that, worked a little bit, but maybe more purposeful steps in the drama that you want to create from your group. The ending, I loved it, about leadership and just do it and do it and do it until you get it right and find a solution. It was a great message, and I really can't wait to hear what you come up with next. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. And now Stephen Morgan will be evaluating Hadi's speech.
Have you found it yet? That creepy crawly thing, distorting everything. Hadi, you had a very fascinating opening to grab the attention here. And you could have taken even more further if you'd wanted to go that dramatic route. There are a couple things I could suggest to you for that opening. The first one is you were still moving about when you started talking. You weren't even facing forward. Plant, take stance, pause, grab the attention in, and then launch forward. What I noticed about most of your speech is your stance was like this most of the time, just so that you know, and you pretty much stayed like this for most of it. It helps if you can get it further out and add more. What you did do well is you brought in the rule of 3 with the 3 stories that you were telling, and we all got to get a bit of information on ideas of how to use our instincts, or at least how others get to use their instincts. Now, my gut's telling me that I'm looking at the Persuade with Power project, so what I'm looking for is the call to action. The persuasion is to get us to go and do something, and I never quite got the idea of what that call to action was supposed to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to go do. And that is what Hadi is supposed to go do, apparently. Next thing you know, Mike's going to be telling us the rest. What I can suggest for you is that what it seemed to me, what I'm getting as a hunch as I'm watching, is that you're spending most of your time giving the speech that you were thinking about in your head. And as a result of thinking so much, you're not catching on to the emotional state of yourself and the audience, which is where you want to lead them. Now that takes a little bit more than being able to step back from, but I want to say this next thing next, and then this next thing next, and this next thing next. The thing that you got to realize there is that if you forgot this thing in the middle, we're not going to know it. And it's not important if you do, you just find a way to fill it in. So if you can get into that steering of the emotion and the energy, you'll have even more effective results here. Now your best strength, of course, is that you love to tell stories, which is excellent for what you want to do, and especially what we do here. You are obviously a voracious story reader and teller. Keep telling those stories. And then, when it comes time for that next speech, you'll be able to go up here and when you ask us, have you found it yet? I have. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Now let's get the reports from our technical table. Let's start with our timer first, please.
That was a voracious meeting, I must say. Name the words now. All right, Macarena, great job, 650. Ernst, 723, a little over. But Hadi, 703. I'll let it slide. Because I found what I was looking for in my insurance card. Steve, 1 minute 10 on the table topics. Lori, 32. Erica, 33. Then evaluators. Mary, you were at 301. Erica, 301. Julia, 232. And Steve, 240. And that is my report for time.
Thank you. Can we have our countdown out, please? Jeff?
I was voraciously looking for money for the function. But all of you spoke so well. Macarena, you had 2 ums, 1 you know, 2 ands. Ernst, you had 1 sometimes. Hadi, you had 1 pause. Julia, you had 1 but. And Mary, you had 1 and 1 so. And that is my report. Thank you.
Now for the woman with a voracious appetite for hearing.
Last minute saving. Okay. I thought I was gonna have, what do you call it, a shutout there? Okay. Those who use the word of the day, and they used it pretty well too. Stephen Morgan started it off. We had our time at Mike Hughes, our counter, Jeff, and a general evaluator, Lori. All right, now let's see. Let's talk about some of this language. Wasn't too bad today. We didn't have too much time. Let's see. Macarena. Where are you doing? Macarena, you were doing talent. I think you meant to perform talent. I love fiction disguised as truth or or reality. Ernst, you had so much. Where's Ernst? There you are. You had so much there, so much flavorful language. It was so funny. Well, it's already your evaluator has already talked about your your acronyms over there. But you said to. Oh, I have a page here for you. I love the running from a speech. I love the Greek national treasury. And I'm glad you explained that you meant crate, not crap. And it is Elvis has left the building. Okay? All right. As for Hadi. Hadi, your pet word is all of a sudden and decided. Okay? But it was so well done, and it was so real, and it gave us always something to think about. I loved it. And I have, let's see, Stephen, running overboard with working. I love it. And we have Hadi, oh, the antidote to the peril. Was that what you gave us? That was different. Mary Carol Holder. I'm not going to say anything bad about our district governor, but watch your varies and your greats. Julia, you only had a couple of greats today. And Stephen only had one. Yeah, one grade. And I think anybody else? That's it. I went. If you did not use the word of the day and you spoke, pay up 25 cents.
It's been a great meeting.
25 cents.
As the general evaluator, I'm supposed to comment on the flow of meeting, and one thing I'm filling in for Alexandra, and the tables could have been in a little bit more. It looked like it was pretty difficult for people who are coming in late to find a seat, so sorry about that. She'll be here next week and it'll be better. Our Toastmaster, you did a great job. Oh. You didn't ask a full job. It's the theme. And our evaluators, thank you so much for giving constructive feedback that we can all learn. Mary Carol, the thing that we can all learn is for all of us to have maybe a 10 to 12 word phrase with our specific purpose. I didn't have my I said there was the other thing that Julia mentioned is that we can all use is to have more drama in our opening and have some purposeful pacing or walking or movement. And then I appreciated Stephen's suggestion about coming up and just planting and taking a stance and then opening, so it's something that we can all use. The It really was a great meeting. I'd like to turn it over to our very, to our president.
That's what we call passive aggressive.
I know.
I see we have some new faces this morning. If you could stand up. I apologize that Gus is traveling. He's our guest ambassador. So if you can tell us your name and how you arrived this morning.
Julia, that's Glass.
Ah.
And Mac, apparently I've never met. But I have now. And this was really good. You know, Julia told me about it, but until you come and actually experience it, you know, I really didn't know what to expect. And I appreciated all the speakers. I think they were all entertaining. I walked away, I think, with a better understanding of this organization. This is something we're supposed to develop a career plan. And my boss thought, well, maybe it might be good, because I'm always apologizing when I talk for things, and I don't even realize it, and apparently I'm being dinged now, and I owe her 25 cents. I think I'm up to $4 now. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Over in the back of the room, he snuck out of here earlier, but Dave Carney came to visit, and he is our former president, Linda Schoonover's husband. So he got to sit in for 3 speeches. I encouraged him to stay. He was only coming over to give me some financials that I have given to Ernst. But if you ever get to see him again, he's a really great guy, phenomenal speaker as well. I saw someone that just snuck in at the last minute. Sir, could you give us your name? You look familiar, but...
I belong to the Viking leprechaun.
That's what I thought. You claim her?
I escaped from the Emerald Isle this morning to attend this so-called Toastmasters meeting.
Thank you for joining us again. And we also have a guest back again, Kelvin. Tell us what you thought about the meeting.
I think it was an excellent meeting. Yeah. It was an excellent meeting. Once again, I do remember having the same listings as Hadi. I went to Puerto Rico last year and I didn't get the insurance. And yes, I paid a lot for that. I could relate. Definitely great stories. Thank you for sharing your passion about your story, about reality TV. And I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Perfect, thank you. A lot of energy today. It is St. Patrick's Day, and I see some people have worn their green. It's also my daughter's birthday today, which is very interesting. And I apologize, I know you came last week. What was your name again? You came
Mike.
with your sister. Mike.
My sister, yes.
Mike, so tell us what you thought about the meeting today.
Well, I like the meeting because I really have this far in coming to Toastmasters because I have a real hard time explaining stuff. My sister says, oh, you need that, and she says, you got that Chicago accent. So that means that people sometimes understand me and not. She says, nobody understands you. She says, I don't understand you. I said, well, it's from Chicago. I mean, we kind of lazy in our words.
I understand.
Oh, big time. I forget the T's, the D's, the A's, you know. It's like, these are the things I keep missing. And she says, when I tried to talk to her, she goes, and it's like, okay, stop it. You know?
That's what sisters do, but in
Oh,
this supportive
this one here,
environment,
she's-
you'll be able to overcome any of these little
And I'm here
obstacles
for
in no time.
a couple months, and I said, okay, you know, because I want to, you know, start speaking out, and it's like, because I've always shied away because of the way I was raised.
Right.
It's like, so don't get out there.
Okay, well, fantastic. Welcome. We're having 50/50. I'd like to buy a ticket myself. And because of time, let me get through this real quick. Next week, the Toastmaster is Martin Bell.
Speaker 1, Lamar. Speaker 2, Rich. Speaker 3, Alexandra. None of them are here today. Table, but they will be here. Table Topics Master, Nicole. No. Mike Hughes, sorry. General Evaluator, Paul Walsh. Evaluator 1, Lori. Evaluator 2, Ernst. Evaluator 3, Nicole. Odd Counter, Macarena. Grammarian, Samuel Bailey. Timer, Julia Kaufman. Yep. Let's see how much money we have to raffle off today. We got millions here. There's millions. Anybody else? Last
I'm
chance.
gonna let our district governor, Mary Carroll, pull
Yeah,
the winning
$3
ticket.
for the winner. Walking, $3.50.
$3.50.
I need to change it. This has better be my ticket. I never.
All right.
Bad feeling about this
All right,
one.
Carol.
Use your instinct.
And
I
it
feel, I have a gut feeling about this.
is 2300 8 5 1.
Oh, baby!
I want to remind those of you who have not paid your dues that we are trying to meet a deadline to have them turned in by the end of this month. So if you haven't turned in your dues, please do so. If you're busy or need a bill sent, Ernst can send a bill if your work needs one. And then I also want to let Mary Carol talk about our upcoming conference to remind us.
Actually, I'll remind you about the conference a little bit later. I would like to talk about something coming up this weekend, which is our first ever District 84 auction. If you have any stuff that you would like to donate, you're cleaning out that attic or the garage or something you just haven't had a chance to donate to Goodwill or to whoever, bring it to us. We'll give you raffle tickets for it. You could win a TV. I get so excited about this. The auction is going to be a lot of fun. There are a lot of great things that are already in the auction. If you come, you might be able to pick up a 21-speed mountain bike for practically nothing, a real Turkish carpet that I actually bought and brought home from Turkey. Beautiful carpet. There's China, there's, let me think. There's just so many things. But at any rate, come to the auction. It is at Eastmont Civic Center. That's in Altamont Springs, not far from here. The auction itself will start probably around 1:30. It will last till we sell out of things. There'll be quizzes. There's the dessert challenge. If you are a really good baker and you want to enter a dessert challenge, bring something. We'll all take little tastes of it and vote for our favorites. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have music.
Start time again?
At about 1:30
On Saturday.
on Sunday. Sunday afternoon. Yes. And the second thing is on the 28th, which is Saturday of this month, we are having the Area 70 speech contest. And John Zielinski still desperately needs people to help out. So please, if you've got any time, that Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock on the 28th, let us know, because otherwise, if we don't get people, I don't know what's going to happen. We need help bad, dire. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
Any other commentaries or anything that I might have missed this week? No? Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Enter training in this room.